Hey guys, and welcome to episode 7. And on today's episode, we will be discussing last week's movements in trades. And so, my portfolio currently is at £5,202.74p with a positive balance movement of £406.78p. Moving on, first things first, we got dividends paid into the account from BT of £2.40. And then moving on to this week's featured stock, and this time I'm talking about Future, ticker symbol FUTR. And this is a long-term slow growth stock that I've picked out. So it doesn't have relatively high dividend yields. It has a relatively high PE ratio, and although it does look like it's overpriced, it has a really strong buy recommendation from investing because of its growth potential. And so please do your own research when regards to looking at stocks. And so with this information, I purchased 5 shares, and not too shortly after, there was some company directed that sold off certain amount of shares, so that caused the price to dip. But it's not something that I'm too worried about in the short term, as it's going to be a long hold. Moving on to another purchase that I did this week was Sirius Minerals, and it's still uncertain what's going to happen with Sirius Minerals, but I thought it would be interesting to see in the future if it does get an investment to have a decent amount of shares. And obviously, with it being 6p a share, I thought that would be a suitable risk to take. So I picked up 1,000 shares in total of Sirius Minerals. But something funny happened, not once but twice, while trying to purchase these shares. So first of all, one of my orders got rejected, so I contacted the team on free trade, and they mentioned that the price that I wanted to buy at, there was no one selling at that price, so they totally cancelled that order. So I had to re-put that in the next day. And then something funny happened again when I put the order in for 980 shares, and they only purchased I think 972. So then I put in another order of 8 shares for the following day. So just sometimes certain things don't always go through on the free trade app, and it's so important to make sure to follow up with the team to make sure you know what's happening with your deals. Okay, so moving on from that, I purchased some more shares in Sirius Real Estate. I mentioned this in my previous video about why this is a good purchase, and obviously please do your own research. Okay, moving on, I picked up GSK, and I picked up 5 shares of GSK because this was just before their earnings call, and I thought this would be a good time to buy, and this would obviously I thought there would be lots of good things coming out of GSK, lots of good news and positivity, so I thought it'd be a good time to buy. And unfortunately, GSK didn't meet. I think they did meet their earnings call, but there was some sort of secondary issue that caused the price to drop essentially. But like I said, this is one of those long-term stocks that has good dividends, so I'm not really too bothered about the actual price of the stock, and so I'm not worried about it that much. Okay, moving on to WWE, and obviously this share fell a lot, and with the firing of the 2 executives, not only that, it missed its earning call, so it dropped further. But I picked up 3 more shares, and I was hoping to kind of break even. But then recently, I think today, there was some news about a call out to the big streaming companies so that they could stream WWE on the streaming services. So this is some positivity that's come out of WWE. So instead of selling at a loss, I decided to hold for the long run, and hopefully one of the big streaming companies, i.e. Netflix or Amazon, picks up WWE as a TV show or a pay-per-view, and this will hopefully drive the shares up. And so I've decided to hold on these. And my next purchase was Games Workshop, and I've mentioned this in a few videos back when I bought my first share in Games Workshop. It's one of my stocks that I really like, and I do like the Games Workshop itself. So I thought I would take the plunge, and I bought a fair amount. I bought 14 shares. So this is one that I would want to look out for. And last but not least, Tesla shares. And these are the general movements in my Tesla shares from the last week. But I will be going to go into more detail with regards to what's happening and why it's happened in another video, because I thought that would be a better opportunity and a better time to explain what my thought process is, why I did what I did. And so I thought that would be another good video to kind of separate that from this one. Okay, and to finalize some of the good movers in my portfolio, so GSK, as I mentioned before, fell by 6%, and BT, which we already know are quite struggling with some of the stuff that's gone on with the deal with Hawaii and some of the other problems that they have. So those two were the ones that are struggling, well as Shell, but that didn't fall as much, and in fact on today it's actually gone back up. And Vodafone has gone up with the positivity coming out of the Hawaii deal. They actually benefited from that. Okay, and then Evra's deal, which actually went up from 3% to 16%, which was a huge increase. And finally, I've highlighted the two blue stocks, which I think will be two stocks to pay attention for in the next following week. Maybe some news will come out, some big growth or some sort of forward movement. Okay, and so that concludes this episode. Thank you for listening, and hopefully I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you.